Poof. There you go.
Is that
You enjoy that
supposed
one?
to be an intro music from you?
That is absolutely intro music.
That was some of the worst shit I've ever heard in my
It's
life.
pretty bad, wasn't it?
Man, I was supposed to be a one-man ska band, like really early on. And it just never came to
When
fruition.
the fuck was that?
My God.
Long time ago now.
Back in the
Long
young
time.
days.
It was either
Back in the
between
young days.
that and a lawyer, and he just didn't have the voice for the ska band, so
One-man ska band fell through, yeah.
Back in the young days, myself.
fucking hell. Every time I feel old here. Everyone else is so much younger than me. We do
Look,
this.
man,
old
you
are you?
either get to
I'm 31.
I'm old.
I'm old.
I'm 25.
Yeah, and this is fucking 24. Nah. You guys
I'm
aren't old.
the baby of the group. Jeez.
How old are you, Vis?
24.
Lord. Feel my arthritis kicking in.
That's probably just the carpal tunnel from all of those mad swings on the mouse, dude.
Yeah, probably, bro. I'm waiting for that to hit me when I get older, eh?
I'm already there. It comes.
Raymond, why
very
do you wear a
suddenly.
wrist brace on stream?
It's fucking depressing, man.
Yeah.
Like 3 years ago, I know I was so much fucking better, and now it's like I just can't fucking. I can watch old footage from like, when I was playing Overwatch and shit, and there's just no way.
I used to not believe in it.
I'm not that
I used to
consistent
not
at
believe
all.
in it.
Wow.
Undeb was like, I'm getting old, I suck at video games now. I'm like, that's not a thing.
Yeah.
And then I've talked to more people and they're like, as soon as I hit 30, it's just,
It's absolutely
I'm
a
like,
thing,
oh,
man.
no.
I'm so shit now compared to like 2-3 years ago.
I've got 5 years to hit my prime and then it's fucking...
That's
See,
it.
mate.
You're like a footy player. You're on the
After
clock.
that point,
Legit,
you're playing
it's
for
like
fun.
what, once you hit 30, your body's clapped out, mate. There's no fucking quick shots or fucking quick reaction time. It's like,
fucked,
oh,
mate.
I didn't see the guy.
There's no
just-
fucking Viagra pill for aim. That's it. It's over.
Don't tell me that.
Try tell what's his name? Who does that? The pensioners? Who does that bit?
What's his name?
I don't know. It'll come to me later. Do you want to roll the intro, Jim?
You caught me mid-sip, you fucker. All right, fuck it then. Welcome to NULLSCORE, a podcast where two nobodies somehow manage to convince far more successful content creators to lower themselves into making an appearance. My name's Jim, and this is my co-host, Harriet. How are you, ma'am?
I am well, thank you. I'm a chick today. Apparently, is that what we're going with?
That was it.
What?
That was the joke, yeah.
So, slightly confused, also in the Discord call today, is what I would describe as an FPS streamer, RedOpz. Mate, obviously new to the gag where we have a different name every intro, but I introduce you as an FPS streamer, but explain who you are to the people who may not have heard of you before.
I'm just a redheaded dude who sits in front of a camera and shoots dudes for a living, pretty much.
Okay. So, other than your OnlyFans material, more towards the Twitch side.
I use a weapon in Tarkov to shoot people, not dudes, in a video game. Away from my OnlyFans. Yeah, that's
away from
that's
your
what we do.
OnlyFans stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I do. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there you go. So this week we wanted to talk about the FPS genre a little bit generally, because one of the really cool things about Tarkov is Tarkov's doing a lot of things, or it started doing a lot of things that a lot of other FPS games haven't done for a while. We saw some new stuff when Overwatch came out. They kind of shook things up with that hero shooter genre. But ever since then, I think Tarkov's really only been the big push in the FPS genre into something different. So when we wanted to talk about that, we thought, who better to have on than a bloke who's just been killing it in Tarkov lately? So I hit you up and you were kind enough to say, yep, come on down, have a chat today.
And I love having a yarn. It's fucking good to be.
Coming off the back of a 9-hour stream today, though.
Yeah.
So you must be a little bit wired.
Nah, I'm all good. I'm ready to go.
You're ready to go.
Let's go again.
So
Another 9 hours right now.
Let's
Let's go.
10-hour stream.
Yeah, no worries.
Double shift back to back. So we thought we'd start you off with some simple stuff, and then maybe we'll work back. I know we've got some interesting clips from yonks ago.
No.
Which we dug up from your YouTube
Bro,
channel.
they're so old, man.
I have a couple of questions about
send it.
those clips actually, which I think is going to be really cool. But I think maybe we should open up with something that's really sort of really huge in the FPS community and maybe Twitch at large at the moment, which is Valorant. Have you seen any of the gameplay from it?
Yeah. Yep.
It sounds like he doesn't give a shit.
What's that?
It just looks like another generic shooter to me, to be honest. It looks like Overwatch
reckon?
2. It looks like what Overwatch should have been.
You
But
reckon
that's going to be a very disliked opinion because, I don't know, it's just the new flavor that's coming on the scene, but I think it's just another overhyped shooter that's going to just,
I don't know, man. I think
it's just gonna be
I see
easy.
a lot of people on Twitter sort of echoing what you just said. Like, and people who've played it as well. Like some of the guys who actually got access to it and they came away from it going, yeah, it was nothing special. It was.
It's just boring to watch as well. I legit can't get into it. And as soon as the heroes speak in that game, it instantly reminds me of Overwatch. And then the gunplay is just CS:GO. It's just like they've grabbed every part of a game and put it into one and gone, this is Valorant.
CS:GO with
Like,
ADS on most of the guns by the looks and some hero abilities.
Yeah, I mean, I know I saw Spud Hunter talked about it, and he said that it was he called it creatively bankrupt because it's basically just a mishmash of lots of other pieces that you saw. So it's this like hero quality from Overwatch, the cartoony style we saw in Fortnite, and the mechanics of CS:GO, and then it's all just kind of like thrown together, and we've got this.
There's no uniqueness anymore
Things we've seen before
in video games.
You think?
Yeah, well, there's no that's why Tarkov is so different because Tarkov has done so many things that no other video game has ever done. Like some of the way the weapons works, the meting, the breakdown of weapons, all that sort of stuff that hasn't been done really before in a decent FPS shooter. Where Overwatch has been done. If you look at Overwatch, like Team Fortress, then you've got it's just Valorant is just CS:GO to me. Like it's just no one is making their own game anymore. They're just taking stuff from other games, like you said. They're just making it more modern and putting it into a massive shit pile and just throwing it up, being like, "Yes, this is AAA. Please give us money." Like it's free to play, but they're gonna make that many microtransactions. Like it's just gonna be ridiculous.
They're gonna nickel and dime you out of everything they can. Yeah. I mean, what you just said then is like, how long have you been playing shooters for? Roughly how many years?
Since I was, almost 15 years. Like since I was,
So what's the earliest ones you remember playing that were new at the time?
Oh, Duke Nukem, fucking 007, all that's old stuff.
Yeah, all that sort of old shit. So then you're kind of in the same boat as me. I started around like Quake 2, Quake 3 was still pretty relevant when I started.
Yeah.
So Tarkov to me is a game that it's trying to do a bunch of very ambitious things that are not very accessible to most people. Most people who play shooters, if they haven't been playing them for a fucking long time, they're not going to give a shit about that level of depth. They don't want that. They want something like Valorant or Overwatch where they can just jump in, quickly get into a match and start shooting things and feel good when they win. They don't want to lose over and over, and that's kind of what Tarkov is. Like you'll have nights where you just get shit on repeatedly for hours, and and there's like it doesn't matter. In a lot of cases, there's nothing you could have done better or differently. You were just unlucky.
That's just where that's the best part about it. It's the hardcore side of it. It's not arcadey like these other games where it's like, you're not losing anything.
Yeah, that's kind of my point though. Like that appeals to guys like us because we've had years of winning and losing now. A game that has stakes for losing. If you lose, you're going to lose bad. Like lose 1 million ruble plus kit, as well as any loot that you had, and then you have to heal and buy all new shit. That appeals to us because in games like Quake, there was really no at least to me towards the end of my actual playing it, there was no real. I didn't give a shit if I won or lost, and that kind of thing is what a lot of people. They don't want high stakes. They don't want to feel bad for losing. They want to win. They want to feel good for winning, but they don't want to feel bad for losing even more than worrying about the win, I think. So Tarkov's less accessible to the general public. I think like most gamers are not going to enjoy something like that.
It's a bit scary. I mean, you blokes definitely play a lot of Tarkov, but there was a part where I played Tarkov for a little while on stream, and I'm pretty sure if you were able to go back and find the first VOD where I was playing Tarkov, I remember seeing just walls of stuff that was all grayed out, and I was like, okay, I need a gun that I can shoot, and I was like sorting through mounts to try and find an AK, and then it was like, great, now you have to get ammo, and I was like, okay, well, this one takes 7.62, but lo and behold, there's multiple types of 7.62, and then within those multiple types, there's 3 to 4 variants, you know? Like, it's very, very overwhelming for somebody that's used to, you know, spawning with an M4 with 90 rounds and just being able to blast people like you would in Call of Duty. There's so much more that goes into that. So that first step is a lot higher, I think, for Tarkov than it is for other games. And funnily enough, the reward is also quite high, but what separates it, I think you were saying, Titan, before, you've had years of winning, but now you really feel the loss. Yeah. Like it's punishing.
It will fucking hurt, man. When you you lose, like, if you've only got like how do I fucking explain it? When you lose like a valve that you've been running for fucking ages, like you've worn this valve down and you've had to repair it a bunch. You've got killer armor that's survived however many fucking raids. You got your airframe it's gone through like 4 or 5 face shields, and somehow you've just ended up with the same helmet back again. When you lose that kit for the last time and it doesn't come back on insurance, I don't know why that fucking bothers me. It's like, God fucking damn, I didn't get any of that shit. He took the whole lot. Fuck me.
That stings.
I think you'll agree that Tarkov gives you, like, in a Tarkov gunfight, I have not felt that way in any other video game. Like, you can get shot at in Call of Duty, it's like, yeah, cool, I'm getting shot by a laser. Or in Tarkov, you get shot at, it feels like, if you have your volume loud enough, it feels like someone's entering your fucking land room to start shooting at you, man. Like, it's pretty wild. Like, people who have played Tarkov will agree, you get hard, like, you actually, it's dangerous for people with heart conditions to play this game. Like, it's not like your normal Call of Duty shooter. It's hardcore, man. Like, I don't know.
I've actually had
Granddad's
to say
like,
that
hey, I've heard about this.
Like, we've come to stream and said, would you recommend this game? And I've said honestly, man, not if you have like anxiety problems or heart problems, because you'll probably fuck yourself up playing this.
I've seen clips of dudes crying. There's clips of dudes on YouTube.
I shouldn't laugh at that.
Stream Tarkov and they get shot and they start crying, and it's like, holy, wow, it's just a video game.
And you know, the game's made so that like they've put in certain measures, like, you know, Mosins and 7N1 rounds, where, you know, for those of you that don't play Tarkov, it's a bolt action sniper rifle and a very nice ammo with high penetration. That will always kill you. You know, it doesn't matter what you're wearing. So there's these equalizers that they've put into the game where that fear is always there. You know,
beautiful,
you can
beautiful
sort of
equalizer that Mosin is.
Mosin's what, 30, 35k for a sniper, so one with a scope, and then what's like 40 rounds of SNB, or even the LPS, the basic shit. The LPS will still kill someone.
Doesn't matter what round you use in a Mosin, if it hits you in the head, you're dead.
Yeah, that's right.
That's it.
So LPS is like 100 rubles a bullet, which is it's ridiculous.
Rubles, of course, being the currency in Tarkov.
You can be so fucking dangerous just running around with a Mosin, even just like a little short Mosin infantry with iron sights and a pocket full of ammo and nothing else, and you can still kill fucking anything.
Exactly. Rats. So I want to talk about the Chad's rat thing in a second, but Tarkov, I think, since about September, October of 2019, really took off. Because it's been around for a while. Tarkov's been around since 2016, 2017, sort of. But it only really sort of rose to popularity these past couple of months. And it really took up these other guys like Pestily, for instance, went up with it. I definitely think they were sort of riding the Tarkov wave. Because if you go back and have a look, and I've pulled stats from Twitch Tracker, in May of 2019, they had 7,000 average viewers. And then in January 2020, they had 90,000. Yeah. And that went up in the space of like 3-4 months. So you see this crazy uptick in viewership for Tarkov. And I think I lend that a little bit to the fact, you know, people were fed up with a lot of the shooters that were out at the moment. Because you'll note that that's just after the Christmas season. that we see that uptick. And that's usually when we see big releases like Call of Duty and Battlefield and all that sort of stuff. So it's really, really strange timing to see that all of a sudden, that huge uptick in viewership, which sort of coincides with your stream a little bit, Red, because before Tarkov, you were doing PUBG.
Yeah, PUBG and a mix of other shooters that just got boring.
So then you picked up Tarkov.
Yeah, Tarkov.
And so when did you was there a point where you noticed this kind of like big climb for yourself personally, or was it kind of like gradual?
It was gradual, but it was definitely more attention. You'd see people that you usually wouldn't see in your stream that would play other shooters start coming in and asking you questions about Tarkov, and you'd be like, yeah, okay, like it's starting to catch interest of other people. And like that's where it all starts, is from the small down to the big. Like it's someone catches an interest of it and they just ask their mate about it, and then they buy the game, and then they eventually start watching more content. I think that's what it was. I just gradually noticed more mainly PUBG dudes coming over and being like, hey man, is this game worth it? That's what you get all the time. You probably get, hey man, is this game worth $80? And you're like, to me it is. Like, this is my reply. Like, to me it is, but there's a $200 version. Please buy the $80 version. Try the game and then upgrade. Because a lot of dudes are like, I don't want to be like the dude that's like, yeah, man, buy the $200 version. Then he comes in the stream 2 days later. He's like, I want a refund. The game's dog shit.
Fucking
like,
hate this game. Worst piece of shit I ever fucking played.
But that Twitch thing just drove everyone. It wasn't just even Pestilly, man. Like even watching Slush. Like if you already had a steady viewership on Tarkov, it just instantly skyrocketed everything. Like it was just crazy.
Oh, I should have said that it was also because they had the drops event.
The
that
Twitch
was a
drops.
big thing. Yeah, that was a big thing that pushed it. So that's why in January we have crazy numbers.
I think there was 2 stages
'cause I know
to that whole thing. I think you're skipping a step there because you missed out on it, but I didn't. So what was it? Point 12 or whatever. That was when we got the hideout.
Point 12 wipe.
I think
the massive, the biggest update with a new engine.
Yep. I think a lot of people returned to check out the hideout. And because it was kind of like, it was a little bit grindy to upgrade it in some ways, it drew a lot of people back in because they're like, I want to see what this is like, so I'm just going to play it and upgrade my hideout and see what it's about. That's definitely what caught me. That's what brought me back to it, because I was more or less done with the game. I was like, yeah, I know what it is. I'm not really that interested. I don't have anybody to play with, whatever. But when the hideout thing launched, I was like, all right, well, here's something to work on that it doesn't require me to always be going into a raid. So
I think that was the thing, that the hideout gives you a sense of like permanence, I think, because where in a lot of things in Tarkov, you go into a raid and if you're dead, there's a good chance that most of your gear's gone. You know, your ammo absolutely gone, but there's, you know, for people who haven't played Tarkov before, when you die, right, you don't come back. You don't go into that raid. And all of the gear that you carry in that's on your person, people can then loot and then take out of the map. And then that's it. It's gone. You don't get it back.
You can insure it with Uncle Prapor and he can go out and get it for you, but good luck.
Yeah. But odds are, if you're taking in decent gear, you won't get it back.
Yeah.
And that's a huge risk. Whereas with the hideout, you bought these things in there, and they stick around. You know, it doesn't matter whether you die or whether you go away for a week, they're always there. And I think maybe that was something that people really, really liked, is that whilst you still got this thrill of taking your gear out, and that's still 90, 100% of the game, because God knows you've got to get some weird shit to upgrade your hideout. I think that feeling of going, yep, upgraded my lights. Yep.
Well, see, it wasn't that I gave a fuck about. It was more that the passive bonuses to leveling and just like your character in general and the crafting. It opened up, like, because there's now a way to make certain types of ammo that are otherwise either limited in supply or expensive because people just buy them, you know, they just buy they buy the traders out and then list them all on the flea market. You can now make M995 or, you know, you can make some of the ammo types that you'd really, you know, sometimes they can be difficult to get.
I think that goes back to where we were talking about uniqueness in a game. I don't think I've ever seen an FPS game with a hardcore role play like that, and then you can go out of a raid and build a hideout. You know what I mean? Like that adds to the uniqueness of Tarkov. Like no other game has that hardcore shooter aspect, and then you go back to the lobby and you don't have to go straight back into a game. You can sit there and craft ammo. You can sit there and craft meds. You can build your air system. Like it's just like so much stuff you can do in Tarkov, which you can't do in other games, which gives it that uniqueness apart away from others.
And an in-game tangible marketplace.
Yeah, exactly.
You see something like that in an MMORPG, like wow, you've got an auction house or RuneScape, the GE, but I've never seen that in a shooter before. I'm positive that if you looked hard enough, you'd find a title somewhere that had something similar. But I don't think we've seen something as polished as Tarkov.
I don't know if polished is the right word.
I mean, look, you can argue whether it's a polished product. The fact of the matter is it's more polished than the other games. And I think the only other game I know that has a marketplace like that is CSGO. But I'd put that in a different category because that's more of an aesthetic thing. Well,
it's for real money sort of thing. Like you can make real money off that sort of market where they have an inbuilt pretty much economy. Like you watch the flea market on Tarkov, it legit goes up and down like an economy, man. Like it's depending on the meta, depending on the giveaways, the drops on Twitch, the market fluctuates depending on what people are using. Like it's actually crazy. There's actually people who will stream on Twitch. I've watched streamers on Twitch that legit don't even play Tarkov. They stream on Twitch them playing the market in Tarkov and they sit there and flip stuff for more money, and they make all their money off just sitting there flipping stuff on the flea market. Like it's actually crazy. Like people sit there tactically like try and raise the price of something and then sell bulk. It's just
I've seen that in action.
It's crazy.
Because I've got my old stream rig. I just slapped an old GTX 970 in it and took it to work. So now it's just my PC that I fuck around with on my lunch break. But if I've kept it open during the day and watched the flea market, and even stuff like the price of water filters fluctuates so much inside of a 24-hour period. It's so strange. Like the night before I'm buying them for like 45, 50K. The next morning I'm going into work and I've got a few stashed away there from the night before. They're up to like 90, nearly 100.
Yep.
Just because, I don't know, I guess there's not enough around.
What we go off is time zones. So we go off like, all right, when's it going to be the NA? Because like the game, like NA is your big game. Like that's your big fish. It's like, when is NA going to be on smashing the flea market and playing Tarkov? Because that's when you can get on there and get stuff cheap, and then you keep it till the next morning, and the price is skyrocketed because everyone's bought stuff or put stuff on the market. It's just, I've never seen a flea market or any sort of market like that in any other game.
I've never seen one in a game be so volatile. Like, it's just all over the fucking place so quick.
Yeah.
So one of the other things I wanted to talk about in Tarkov, because I think it's generally like there was a couple of things I had to look at when I was doing all of my the research for podcast. One was what Angry Joe was talking about, and I thought was pretty interesting because he reviewed Tarkov and very recently he put this out. I think it was in March. He probably released this review. He talks about, and he says there, he goes, Tarkov heavily rewards you for knowledge and know-how, far more so than your ability to shoot. What I mean by this is that you can be a shit shot, but you still manage to come out of raids with millions of rubles and equipment each time if you just take the time to memorize where things spawn, the best routes and timings on when to move. What do you think about that, Red, as somebody that plays the game frequently? Do you think he's on the money? Do you think he's something?
He's pretty much on the money, to be honest, because I try and tell people all the time, they're like, bro, I'm so bad at the game, I can't kill anyone. It's like, dude, you don't have to be the best shot or the best FPS gamer to be good at Tarkov. Like map knowledge, like I tell people, I'm like, don't even worry about learning the weapons, learn the maps, learn the ammo, your armor, that stuff. Like the two most important things in Tarkov is ammo and armor. If you have that, you can use the worst weapon in the game and you can kill anyone in the game. So it's knowledge over skill, but again, like I think still thinks, like it's like saying Shroud. If Shroud had no knowledge, like Shroud, if you put Shroud in any FPS game, he's gonna kill someone. He's a gamer. So it's like it gets to a point where like if you've got a certain skill, you're still doesn't matter. But to a normal gamer, I think knowledge in Tarkov is huge. Like learning the map.
Give him a fighting chance.
Yeah, 100%. Compared to other games, like it's not as raw one-on-one fighting. But yeah, I agree with what he says. Like the knowledge is definitely massive, and you can come out like that's where the rat, like we'll probably talk about it. The rat thing comes into it. Like rats can go into a map and you will not see them, and you will go through the whole map, and the whole map will be wiped clean because this rat is just knows how to get in and out of, let's say, reserve without even being seen, and it's just unbelievable. Like. And they're making millions.
That's definitely Blash and I. That's how we've played some raids like that, just for a laugh, just to see if we could get away with it, run in with a pistol and fuck all else.
Yeah. So maybe for those of you that aren't super clued in on Tarkov lingo, not too long ago there was a video by General Sam, I think. He did a video called "The Two Types of Tarkov Players," and the whole joke is that there are Chads and Rats, and Chad's, I think he makes this joke about saying that even the idea that they're not involved in a firefight just pisses them off. So they go and they chase down gunfights. Or you have a rat, which scurries around. It's a player that's looking to avoid as many engagements as possible. They're just there to loot the containers and get out.
They're the most annoying looking player in a video game. Let me put it that way.
So, I mean, clearly you're very much in the Chad camp. I've watched a lot of your stream. I tend to throw your stream on in the background when I'm like editing or doing other stuff, because it's just there is far and away the difference between me playing Tarkov. I like to think that I'm somewhere between a Chad and a rat. I'm just shit. I just pick gunfights I shouldn't pick. That's
I just call you a chat, mate. Just call you a Chad rat.
But
I'm pretty sure I made that joke on stream.
Yeah, said you're a Chad rat Toyota hybrid.
No, you said that. What I said was you're a combination of the worst qualities of the Chad and the rat. You don't pick up any decent loot, and you take really silly fights and you approach them completely the wrong way. You have no chance of winning.
It's great. Tarkov is definitely not a game for somebody like me, where I like to drive the car backwards, so as to speak. I think that's more my thing. But I had a little bit of material here about how the Chad rat thing started, because I know a lot of people will go back towards that video and they go, yeah, that's where Chads and rats came from. But the guy that made the video, General Sam, has a podcast called Forehead Fables, and he talks about where the Chad rat thing came from. And he said that he was thinking about rats because the guy that he was playing with at the time, Aqua FPS, who was the Chad for the purpose of the video, made a joke about him scurrying away into the manhole on reserve. And then the rat thing just came into his mind because a guy that he had a Discord with, Poob, had this whole thing for rats. And so he ended up getting called the Rat King of Tarkov over Twitter, and he actually ended up screenshotting that comment, and his mate Poob then sent it to him, because there was a whole joke for years before that video came out that Poob was the king of rats. And so Poob ended up screenshotting that and sending it to General Sam, and like just with like an angry face, just to say like, you've stolen my title as the king of rats. So it's a really interesting listen if you're super into Tarkov. That particular episode of his podcast, he talks about how the Chad rat thing came about. But now it's like fully identified and split the Tarkov community.
Yeah, it's massive now. It's a huge warfare against rats. Like I don't think I've ever said the word rats so much in my life, and I even give it a certain way I say it, like rats. Like there's a certain way we say it, because it's just, I don't know. To us that play the game as Chads, to the Chads, seeing a rat actually infuriates the fuck out of me, to be honest. Like it's like you've done all the work in a raid, like, and you get to a certain room where there is at least some sort of loot to pay for all the M995 you've just put into scavs, and you'll catch some naked ass dude with his little red rebel out, just like looking at you. Like it's just like, you're like, you little fucking rat. Like it's just, it rolls off the tongue now. So like I don't even think about it. It just rolls off like, yep, that's a rat.
And what's funny about it is it's not a situation where I think the rats don't like being referred to as rats.
They fucking love it.
it's not. Yeah, that's the thing. I think you get in other FPS games, you might see people calling each other noobs or something like that, and they're all like, "Oh no, it's an insult."
Yeah.
But the rats, there's a group of people who really take a sense of pride.
The rats definitely derive pleasure from knowing that everyone else hates them.
Mate, I had a
fucking
rat.
love
I had
it.
a rat yesterday stand in a hallway, and he looked me in the eyes. And when I was about to kill him, he fucking pulled out a grenade and threw it at his feet. Like that's what they're going to now. They are a problem.
Rats are just the embodiment of spite.
Mate, he
I
had no
think.
fear. This rat. He walked out in the hallway. He knew I was coming, and he looked me in the eyes and fucking threw a grenade straight at his feet while I was on top of him.
Did
Like,
you
they
manage
are-
to get out, or was that
yeah,
weird?
but they're a problem. Like that's causing me dramas. That's not okay.
That's go to sleep that night and you're like, the rat's got grenades. They've got
Yeah.
grenades, man.
My poor missus is hearing me calling out rats in my sleep.
Like the fucking meme of that woman, like, who is he thinking about? Thinking that he's fucking cheating.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
Fucking rats.
yeah.
Laying awake.
He doesn't
there.
love me anymore. Rats. Well, look, we get to we're about at that halfway mark. So this is usually where we crowbar in a sponsor spot. Of course, we're doing our best, Titan, to recruit Killer Coffee.
By best, we mean worst.
By worst, we mean best. Because, honestly, I think genuinely we both really like the coffee, but there's no way they're going to sponsor us. So we've just got to come up with really inventive ways to have, people that listen to the podcast try Killer Coffee, and if maybe we get a big enough impact, they'll take notice of us. That's basically the plan.
You just gotta be the little one in the corner, like getting attention. You just need the attention.
Yeah. Did you expect anything else from me?
No.
See, I'm alright to coast
Well,
along, but Miss fucking dragged me into this, so. I'm in. I gotta just play along.
Do you want a coffee that will let you land a headshot with a TOS at 200 meters plus?
Oh,
I don't think that's possible.
no. Well, scabs have
Would
done
Killer,
it to
would
me,
that
I feel
coffee
like.
do it?
Mate, I reckon it would.
Do you want a coffee that's going
I
to
want
let
a
you
coffee-
outperform Johnny Sins?
That's impossible, mate. He's done every job on the planet.
He's an astronaut. He's a doctor. He's a
Mate.
masseuse therapist.
Mate, big Cinzy, mate. He's a fucking man of all trades, mate.
Man of all trades. What about you, Red? What do you want your coffee to do?
I reckon I want a coffee that's going to make me fuck a kangaroo on the hop, I reckon. It just absolutely...
Jesus Christ.
You never heard that saying?
No. No.
Never. Is there a second meaning to it, or is it just what it is?
Nah, pretty much you just catch a kangaroo on the hop, mate. Pretty much. That's how good you are on that coffee, mate. That's what I want.
You can catch up.
Mate, I want a shot of that coffee and I'm just catching a kangaroo on the hop.
Well,
not fucking sin still.
Unfortunately, Killer Coffee won't do any of those things, but
It won't
it's a
do
really
those
fucking
things.
good cup of coffee.
It's a good cup of coffee. Oh man, I reckon one day they will send an advisor to come and talk to us, and it's either going to be
We need you
they're
to
going to
stop.
send us a letter,
We need you guys
and it's
to
either
stop.
going to be an offer or it's going to be a cease and desist.
Please stop
It's
talking
just going to
about
be
us.
one of two things.
We'll pay you to stop.
That's
Just
how
never
we'll go.
mention us again. One time payment. Please don't ever mention us ever again.
Yeah, jeez. So before we jump off the Tarkov train for good, Red, I thought it would be kind of cool to get your opinion on some stuff that was scheduled to be added into Tarkov way back in 2018.
Yep.
There was a Reddit post done. It was originally in Russian, I think, and somebody had the good fortune to find a translated version. And I picked out 4 things that I thought were really, really cool. And I want to get the opinion of somebody that plays. And I say cool not in the sense that it's a good thing, but that it's interesting. And I want to get your opinion on it. The first one that really struck me are trip mines. They listed 5 separate anti-personnel mines.
Yeah.
So 5 different versions.
Well, there are mines in the game right now. So there are mines in the game right now, but they're like hidden off the side of maps. Like there's some on Shoreline and there's some on Reserve that you've got to go out of your way to pretty much stand on and blow yourself up. But
they're used to sort of edge off a map.
Yeah,
right? They're
pretty
a
much.
tool to fence people in. And I think there's warnings as well.
Yeah.
For those sort of mines. But what do you think about, like effectively claymores?
No.
Really?
No.
Not at all?
No way. There's already extract campers as it is. I could imagine dudes just setting up claymores at extracts. They would have to do something about it has to be manually activated or something because I could see rats grabbing claymores and sitting at extract and waiting for geared dudes to extract and just getting blown up, mate. And they jump on your gear and then your mum's your dad, they're gone with your kid. Like,
so you definitely think that's going to empower the rats?
Oh, mate, 100%. I don't even. That's a whole nother topic. Extract campers are not even rats, mate. They're worse.
They're worse.
See, I can already.
What do you think,
I mean, look. Okay, Vis. Let's just say we're going to raid, just 2 of us.
Sure.
Head to gas station. Rishal is there. Wipe him and his fellas. A couple other PMCs who thought they'd push the fight.
Rashala, of course, being one of the bosses in Tarkov.
Scout boss, yeah.
My eyes are closed right now. I'm picturing this.
Yep.
My eyes are closed.
He's going on a vision quest.
So we
Keep
fucking
talking to me
spank
about this.
all of them. Take out a few more PMCs that decide to come for a look. Loot everything up.
Of course, if you're RedOpz, you do this with 1 spray off of an M4.
This is
160.
hot. Keep going. This
one's
is hot to
60 round
listen
drum
to.
and a TX15. He's done the whole thing just for that. So yeah, that's all done. Take everything. Take all the tags. Take the shit off the PMCs that you think will annoy them the most, just to teach them a lesson. You don't actually want the loot. You're just taking it.
Just strip the guns of all the
Heading
attachments.
towards fucking vehicle extract. It's there at dorms. You fucking hobbling your way over there because you've got fuckloads of loot. Walking up towards the vehicle, you get fucking blown up by a mine that's just been left like in the grass and bushes near it. Does that sound like fun to you?
What do you mean?
Does that sound like fun to you?
If that happened to me, my Logitech G Pro would move 4 houses down, mate. Let me tell you. If I loaded back in, if I went to the desk screen and that said fucking Johnny Sins 2014 killed me, I would fucking lose my mind.
Yeah, Mon 50.
No way they add claymores or mines that are put in by PMCs into this game. You would legit see me on Reddit Summer 1G'ing my fucking setup.
Yeah, I don't.
What
I don't
about?
think so. I don't think it'll be a good thing.
So mines would obviously be a big detrimental thing.
Well, I mean, at the moment, the point is like, there's a lot of gear that exists that has like there's downsides to it. Like with thermals, it drains your stam. You've got to drop it every now and then, so you can't just constantly look through them. The headset one doesn't work with optics, so you have to run iron sights. What downside is there to leaving a trip mine somewhere? Like how is it going to be balanced in any way?
What if it was the cost? I mean, that's the thing. Like you'd sort of really have to up the cost to sort of fix that. But I think we'd probably get too lost on the mines if we started to try and balance landmines.
Oh, mate.
I think maybe, look, if somebody's got a suggestion as to how to make landmines work in Tarkov and they're willing to make a case for it, they can do it in the comments.
Yeah, I'll give it to you right now. Don't put it in the game.
Foldable landmine fucking detector that goes in your pistol slot.
Here we go.
The second thing on there was it's sort of a bunch of things together, but they sort of all they all kind of like serve the same purpose. Bipods, binoculars, and rangefinders. To me, that screams snipers.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I'd like that. Because that's another good thing about Tarkov. You can play the game any way you want. So I think that would be good for people who want to, they don't have to load in and be a Chad. Like they can lay up on a rock somewhere, bro, and they can pull out a rangefinder and be like, right, that's a 300-meter shot. Like I think that gives more depth to the game, which is in the end of it going to improve the game. So I think that would be pretty cool. I think that would be, because they want to eventually, I think they want to add ghillie suits. Like imagine that.
That's going to make people even harder to find.
Well,
Exactly. You got a rangefinder, a ghillie suit, and a little DVL laying in the grass on woods, mate. You're good to go.
as long as they actually look good, because if they're really obvious, like if they're poorly implemented and it just looks like,
Yeah.
all right, well, there's 2 bushes and there's a guy in a ghillie suit. I can see from here. I can tell that that's a man laying down.
The last time I heard them speak about it, they were saying that there's like too much clipping going on with the actual PMC, so it doesn't look good. So
Yeah.
I think Nikita's Nikita wants his game to look good, like, and he won't put something in the game that looks bad. So I don't think the ghillie suit will be in for a long time, but
That's another one. So the other one is perhaps maybe a little bit more nuanced. Oh, but so bipods, binoculars, rangefinders. Are we yes or no, boys?
Yeah, I say yeah.
Yep.
I think so. I feel like something like the rangefinder is going to be very rarely used. Like, it's I think it.
But it gives
It definitely, like, it would be good to sit up in dome with a fucking one person with a rangefinder and the other one, with the DVL or whatever. You'd probably
have a
do
spotter.
really well. Yeah, with like a
groups-
dedicated spotter.
that hits the spot for role players and like people who love that sort of, you and your mate can get on and I'll be the sniper this one and you can be the spotter this one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But
and
I
then
mean,
the next one they
those guys
swap.
are still going to have their game ruined by somebody sprinting up there with a Kedda, and spraying them in the
Yeah,
fucking
you're not
legs.
wrong.
And you know what? That's the beauty of Tarkov.
They're going to get so
Yeah.
pissed. We're playing the game serious and he's not. It's like, well, don't play the game then.
One of the other things that I thought was quite interesting are NVGs and thermals requiring batteries.
Oh, it's a 100,000 fucking %.
Yeah?
Yes, absolutely.
Because batteries right now in the game are like AA batteries, which is what, well, from my personal experience, is what most sites will take is AAs or D cells. And the AAs and D cells in game are pointless. So for starters, it's going to make the batteries on the flea market and in the market actually useful.
What do you
for
mean
starters.
pointless?
And second, rats just use thermals. Like there's new players that will learn that there's a thermal in the game, and that's all they will use. It's just, yeah, I don't know. It's just annoying.
So you think that it'll make good use of things that are already in the game?
100%.
It'll create sort of like a release valve for some
Again,
of these things.
2
that we're
crows
seeing.
with 1 stone. They're using stuff that's in their game that's now pointless. It'll make it viable, and it will stop people abusing the fucking thermal thing.
Because I think you go to woods and you're bound to come out with 2 or 3 Reap IRs.
If you win
Exactly.
your
It's
fights,
legit.
yeah.
Yeah, it's legit who's got the better Reaper at the moment on woods and stuff like that at the moment. It's just, even on any map, dudes, as soon as new players, I find, it's like mainly new players or like level 20 or 30 at the moment, they will find out that there's a thermal in the game that shows you up to, 200, 300 meters that there's a white signature that they can shoot at without even have to using their eyeballs. They'll be like, oh, sick, no worries, yeah, that's fucking easy. Like, it's just dumb.
See, I hate that that's what it's become, but it's like that in a lot of the daytime raids for me. I don't know, maybe it's different because I play on SCA mostly because I get a little bit better ping. But it's like that it doesn't matter what map now. All the higher level players typically will be using Reaps. And it's kind of silly. It's the only way to sort of fight against them because if you aren't using one, there's a pretty good chance they're going to spot you first because they're just scanning. They're just scanning with the thermal. They're not bothering to use anything else. Why would they? If they've got the money to do it, why not use the thing that highlights every enemy that walks in front of you?
I think it would be cool that Reapers as well should or thermals in general in Tarkov should not be on the market. It should be like find and raid, and once you find it, you can't sell it on the flea market. You either got to take it in the raid and risk it, and then if you lose it, you lose it, and then like you kill someone else. Like, you know what I mean? There's no, because the Reaper IR is at 200k rubles, which to me, like that's nothing. Like if I'm putting a Reaper IR on my gun, A, I have a massive advantage, and B, 200k rubles is nothing. Like,
what are you sitting on right now? What's your stash?
105. Oh, my stash worth is like 200 million rubles. So like,
wow.
That's like 200, like to put that in context, like a 200k site where you can see into any building or any like bit of foliage and you see a massive white signature it's just a stupid advantage in my opinion. So I think,
last thing I pulled out there, which I thought was pretty interesting, was a reputation system for scav players. The way that I see this working out is if you kill other scavs as a scav or you kill other player scavs, you start a firefight really early rather than just going for PMCs. Maybe you start spawning with, a certain scav avatar. Like maybe Siggy Scav is the scumbag scav. So that he's gonna pop
What do you
if
mean?
get too close. And Ushanka Scav is like good guy Greg. He's if there's an Ushanka Scav there, you're pretty good. He's not gonna pop you. What do you think about something like that?
Oh, I think that's not needed, to be honest.
When was the last time you did a scav run?
Oh, I do it with chat. Like we do scav armies and stuff, and I use it to warm up. But it's only like start a wipe. Players like myself will use player scavs to their advantage. You use it to get extra gear, or you use it to try and collect task items. But at the moment, man, I don't know. Player scavs are not really that overused. I think that's just a waste of resources at the moment. Yeah. I think one thing for
for those of you that don't play Tarkov, a scav is like an NPC, an enemy, usually a computer controlled or like AI or something. But players actually have the option to spawn in as scavs. For most raids, I think labs you can't do it, but for most raids you can spawn in as a scav, and that makes all of the NPCs on the field so much more dangerous because there's a chance that one of them is going to be a human and they've got bloody good aim. Not to say that scavs don't have good aim. There's a few scavs that'll pop you.
I'm more scared of scavs than I am players in this game, man.
Man, I've been
be
fucking
honest,
one.
They're actually aimbots, man.
Sometimes it's so fucking silly. Like, I've been one tapped in the face by an SKS scav who was like, he was sidestepping, moving backwards over a hill on woods from I don't even know what fucking distance away. I just saw him. And I was about to ADS and take him out. I had a Mosin on me with a scope on it. And I didn't even hear him yell. I just heard I heard the round hit me and I was dead. I was like, what the fuck just happened?
They're aimbots, mate. I did legit better than players. Half the players at the moment.
Rip. Yeah, so a reputation system for scav players. Yes or no?
I think scav players need their ID shown, to be honest. I don't know. Some other streamers a little bit bigger than me would probably agree, because stream sniping in Tarkov is a massive thing. I think instead of that, I think player scavs should actually show your name. Like you get your scav name, but then at the end you can see which player was actually playing that scav, if that makes sense. Because
so maybe your death results show the player's name.
Yeah, so it shows the scav's name, and then it has in brackets like the player's name. I think that's one thing.
Johnny Sins 2014.
Yeah, like I think that's one thing me and a lot of some other streamers would like, because there's nothing better, man. You got no idea. You'll kill someone, then they'll play a scav in, or they'll be watching your stream and they'll play a scav in, and then magically at extract, there'll be someone waiting for you in a bush, just like perfectly, like knowing exactly where you're going to be. And it's like, and they can get away with it anonymously. Like, I don't know, like you can already be pretty anonymous on Tarkov, but yeah, I'd like to know who's playing player scavs against me, to be honest. I think that's one thing I'd rather over a reputation like sort of system.
Well, it also might deter some of them from... Blash and I have come across a few. I don't know if you have. I don't think you were playing with this yet, Vis, but we came across a few obvious cheaters. I mean, you can see that they're using like some sort of speed hack, like just scooting around. And it's scavs. It's player scavs. Like almost every time it was a player scav. Like, all right, well, even if we kill the guy or he kills us, we don't know who the fuck it is. You can't report them because it's just going to show you a fucking scav name. So
harder to pin down.
Yeah.
So I think probably for this last bit we're going to shift just a little bit away from Tarkov, Red, and we're going to talk a little bit more about you as a person.
Yep.
Now you said before that from your experience that most sites use batteries.
Yep.
Your experience being from a military background.
Yeah, did 5 years in the army. Yeah, 5 years in the army.
5 years in the army. So
what
did you...
combat engineer. So yeah, I didn't really get to do much overseas or anything, but I still did all the training and stuff, and I mainly played rugby for defense. But yeah, I still had a little bit of experience with weapons and stuff like that. So it was good.
So what do you do as a combat engineer? What's
specialize in pretty much mobility. So we build bridges We clear. The main thing right now is in this day and age, man, we specialize in IEDs overseas. So we clear IEDs. We're pretty much at the front, clearing IEDs and stuff like that. We also specialize in like a whole range of stuff like plant work. Yeah, we have a massive range of things like chainsaw. It's good. The list is massive, man. So it's a pretty cool job.
Yeah, but and you said you played rugby for the defense force for a while.
Yeah, so
How
that
long
was
were you
what,
playing
mate.
rugby for?
For defense, I played for like 2 years. And then some stuff happened with the injury you guys probably know about. But yeah, that was my main
for
reason.
People that maybe not have heard.
I mean, it's in the script as ye old broke leg. So
the old, yeah. So pretty much, like 2 years ago, I was playing rugby for defense, and I was in a pretty good place in my career, back at work as well. So it was, I was about to be in a pretty good spot. And then 2 days before we were meant to fly to Canberra to play the Australian police side, we had a trial game, and a dude cannonball tackled me, which is like I was standing up, held up in a tackle, and a 110 kilo dude dove at my shins and snapped my ankle sideways, and then snapped it backwards as well. So pretty much every ligament attached to the ball of my ankle was snapped. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, so you obviously must have been hospitalised for a little while.
No, they just sent me and gave me scans, said go home, and then it was just a long and shitty process. And since 2018, I'm still messed up today from it, and then had surgery last year, and now I've got nerve damage on my whole left leg, right up into my groin. So
fucking hell.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
So obviously you're losing feeling, but does that limit your mobility as well?
I can't walk now. I can't walk at the moment. I've got to try and go on like a walk program or, there's like one surgery at the moment in America that's like experimental for nerve damage, which is like 60 grand. So I've got to try and get funding for that. But yeah, it's pretty wild. Like I've got no feeling in my whole left foot, and then the inside of my left leg is numb up into my groin.
Hold on.
So I've got, like,
60K Australian or
hypersensitivity.
US?
US.
US. Fucking
Right
hell.
now is about what, 120?
Yeah, so it's like half a house at the moment, man.
Fucking
Like,
hell.
yeah, and it's 2 months as well, so you need flights and 2 months accommodation in America. It's like no.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't be able to fly
crazy.
after it. So you'd fuck.
No.
And obviously you can't be running around in the military with one good leg.
Yeah, so I'm 26th of May. It's coming up. It's my last day of service, so it's sad, but I get to, I don't know, there's people worse off than me, so I'm just gonna do what I can and keep trucking on and doing something like Tarkov and trying to make content. So it's not all that bad. Like I try not to tell the story for people to feel bad, but yeah, there's people worse off than me, man, and I just take what I get in life, pretty much, dude.
Well, I mean, I suppose it's. I don't think it's a situation where I'm certain that there's people out there that are going to hear that and they're going to be, feel, pity or something like that.
Yeah.
But I hear that and I think, you've made the best of a very, very horrible situation. I think a lot of other people would encounter something like that and they'd kind of, just chuck the towel in. Whereas you've sort of, taken that and hit the ground running, and you've moved into streaming.
It was rough. Like, I went through shit. Like, pretty much like since 2018, I haven't walked. Like, it was rough. But I tell the stream all the time that streaming is the part that helped pretty much, because I'm able to, sit down, forget about my injury, and just play games and fucking, talk to people and have like a normal social life. Because it's rough, man. Like, people are like, oh, you've just got a bad leg, but it's like I've got no social life. Like, I'm on crutches now. Like, 24/7, so I can't just go out to the shops or go out with the mates to the pub. Like, it's annoying. Like, people will just be like, nah, don't worry about it, man. Like, you're on crutches, who cares? And
Don't worry about it.
Thanks, man.
That's easy to say when you're not when you're not the one with the fucking bum leg. Like,
exactly.
And I think it's not even just legs. I think Twitch gives a huge outlet for a lot of people that don't have access, or they don't have the ability to go out and do these sorts of things ordinarily. People with anxiety or depression, or maybe they've got maybe they live in a really remote community. Maybe they live somewhere where travel's hard. You know, a lot of these things, I think Twitch provides this outlet for people. I know certainly for me, I went through a period where I was unemployed for a while, and I was kind of just going stir crazy. Having a group of people to interact with and talk to, and just having an outlet for all of your energy and your time and your brain power, huge as a creator. It's such a good thing. I think we have there's a lot of days where you sit down at the end of a stream and you go, man, I am just shattered.
Yeah.
Like you have big days where you're cooked, you know, and then you kind of go back to your bed or your couch and you go, why am I so tired? I've been sitting down looking at a screen for 9 hours, but it's a lot more than that. You know, it's like talking to people. It's, you know, giving advice, making decisions for 8-9 hours.
Well, it can be mentally exhausting.
Mentally shattered. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't feel that way after, like, the longest I've done was 18 hours. And I didn't feel that way afterwards because I, like, the first, I don't know, hour or so, hour and a half was just finishing the messenger. I just wanted to get that game done. But after that, I was like, what the fuck do you guys want to do? And everyone wanted to play Quiplash. So played Quiplash for like fucking 16 odd hours, like into the next morning.
Shit. I would get sick of that.
No, because the prompts were good then. The prompts were really good that night. I don't know why they've been so shit lately, but the prompts were so fucking good that we just kept going, man. New people kept filtering in and out. And
what's the longest stream you've done, RedOpz?
20. It's a meme that I can't do 24 hours. So I made a promise that I was like, the day I get partnered will be the day that I do a 24-hour stream, pretty much, because it's a meme that I fell asleep when Black Ops 3 Blackout came out. That BR I did. That was when I did 20 hours.
You blacked out playing
and
Blackout.
I fell asleep on stream, man. It was just
you got to be careful.
I've got to get off,
like
man.
Like,
if you.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah. No,
if you don't have sleep in your title, you can get banned if you fall asleep on stream. As long as you're promoting that you're actually sleeping, then you can get banned.
See, I thought it fell under Twitch's
unattended stream,
either unattended stream or self harm. Because if you're streaming, if you're that fucked that you're like falling asleep at your desk, there's people who've died on stream from
torture.
that. Like they legitimately fucking died. So I think that's just to cover their ass. They don't want anybody else to die and, you know, in the middle of a broadcast because they're exhausted. They're that exhausted that they just their body just went, no more. Goodbye.
I don't know how people even get to that stage. Like,
how the fuck? How do you not just
I stop myself. Like, I'm like, I'm feeling a bit tired. Not going to be playing at my best. I'm going to get off.
I mean, I've done a 24-hour stream before. And I can tell you that, so what I did was I knew ahead of time that it was going to hurt. Like I knew going into it that I was going to hit the wall. And there's a point where you just don't want to stream. And I was playing Minecraft for most of that because Minecraft is just mindless. You can just do whatever you want. But I found that the biggest help for me was staying away from caffeine as much as I could. Until I needed it, because I think a lot of people have this tendency to just smash Red Bull or coffee or whatever. And the worst part about drinking coffee is not the fact that you have to pee all the time and leave your stream. The worst part is 6 hours later when you crash. And there's no way to sort of dig yourself back out of that. So for me, it was right up until probably the last 3 hours. I didn't have any caffeine. I was just drinking water and eating food. And I made sure to eat food every 4 hours. So even though I was awake really long, I had like breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then I had another meal at 4 hours after that, another meal, and then another meal, like just to keep my body
on schedule, mate. You're all over it.
And we got the 24 hours, and then in July I'll do a 25-hour stream for the 25th birthday, and you know, maybe when I'm washed up and 30, we'll do a 30-hour.
Thanks, mate. Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. No worries.
I'm already there, man. I should have stopped. Should have abandoned it all.
So probably before we close everything out, Red, usually we try to keep these things to an hour.
Yep.
Time's flown, I'll tell you that much.
Always good having a yarn,
I went and dug up a couple of clips. Now, I showed you these clips. I sent you these clips earlier, and I'll have Titan link them. But do you want to tell us this clip that says RedOpz Twitch highlights CS:GO number 1.
Yep.
Do you want to explain for the people listening what's going on in that clip?
Look, I can't even remember, to be honest. I swear, like I had I think a switch like flicked halfway through my streaming career, and there's like a forgotten past. So I think that was my first video. I think it was my first ever.
It is.
Yeah.
It is your first video.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'll tell you, it's actually 2 CS:GO clips back to back. One is a flick shot where you headshot a guy with an AWP. And the other one is where another guy just jumps. I think he jumps out of a window and axes himself. Or I might be thinking of another video, but it's 2 clips from CS:GO, just back to back. The video is no longer than a minute long.
Yep.
But what I found really interesting is 2 things. The first is the intro. Do you remember this intro?
No, I don't. I try to forget all of that shit in the past. But yeah, we're gonna bring it up, I guess.
For those of you that haven't seen it, it's a shield with what appears to be a set of crosshairs, and then of course you've got your logo over the top, the red, and then the ops in white.
Yep.
But the O in ops is also a crosshair.
Yep.
And then you've got your stream overlay, of course, which has got this almost like this.
It was made in paint,
ragged.
man.
Yeah. That's what it looks like.
Yep. It was made in micro. Yep.
So you made that yourself?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't make any of that myself.
Your mate did?
Just me mate just threw it together on a Friday night, and I was like, yeah, that looks sick.
That's awesome. So then what I found was really, really cool was this 6th vid, or the second vid, RedOpz Twitch highlights number 6. It's actually some Fortnite gameplay.
Can we not say that word?
Do you know what's happening in this clip?
Mate, god damn it. Tell how much of it. Yeah, look, I don't know. I can't even remember. You're gonna talk me through it though a bit.
Well, it's a win. It's 3 clips. The first one is a win where you let the boys know, let's go. For those of you that are listening to the audio version, Red, of course, is perched here on the left side. You can see him, which is quite a rare event, is a singlet. You've got your tats hanging out the side.
Yep, I thought it was going to be a cool thing for content was to get the tattoos out back in the day, and it was a very bad idea. Especially when I look like a... Fact
that there's this look that you're very much you've got this very clean cut ginger vibe to you.
Yep.
But there you've got this orange and black singlet, tats hanging out the side, Santa hat on, clean shaven.
Yep.
Almost unrecognizable.
Yep.
And what I noticed 2 things here that are really quite cool. The first is, of course, that logo, your intro with the shield.
Yep.
Different to the logo that you have next to your camera. It's a camera hopping along with the RedOpz text underneath it, which is actually very similar to your logo now. But what's also really interesting is you have a dono goal for a green screen underneath it.
Yep.
Which I think now most people wouldn't recognize you without the green screen.
But bro, I can't even believe you found these videos. They are a train wreck, let me tell you.
I've seen some of your early clips playing Fortnite. I think.
Oh no!
I think the one that kind of lost it.
Did you know that? I don't know if I sent you this, but I got your Twitch tracker stats.
Yep.
And you're within the top 1% of Twitch, by the way. You're in the top 0.34 percentile.
Jesus.
You are the 17th. You are the 17,259th highest ranked channel.
Wow!
So you're in the top 20,000 of streamers.
That's actually pretty cool.
Your most streamed game was PUBG with 1,414 hours at the time of me taking these stats.
Oh.
Your second most streamed was Tarkov with 1,329 hours. Do you want to guess what your third most streamed game was?
Fortnite,
hands down, with an average of 674 hours playing that.
What was I doing?
Getting your ass kicked by kids if the clips I saw were anything to go off. And then getting abused by them in chat.
Yep.
Yeah, so the very interesting some of the stuff coming out of that. Of course, Apex, Call of Duty after that. Your Rainbow Six you actually streamed 181 hours of. What I thought was really interesting was Sea of Thieves as well.
Yeah, I actually
had 120 hours of Sea of Thieves. Why Sea of Thieves? Why did you pick that up?
It's just gaming was in a bad spot like it always goes through every year. So I just had no games to play. So I played Pirates of the Caribbean Simulator. Pretty much it.
And then Warzone coming up on 60 hours. Now, I saw
Boring.
you play a little bit of Warzone,
Yeah.
but you dropped that pretty
That's
quickly.
boring,
It's
man.
such a bad game. It's such a bad game.
If you could add something to Warzone to spruce it up, how do you think you'd fix it?
Delete it.
Just get rid of the whole thing?
Yep, uninstall it from your computer. It's just a terrible game.
What makes it so rough?
It's just another shitty arcade shooter. I don't know. Tarkov legit. It's just I hit a point where I played Tarkov, and now every other FPS game is just bad for me. Like I can't
Warzone
play any
feels
other
like
FPS
it's the most arcade take on Battle Royale that I've seen
mate.
so far.
The Warzone, yeah, it is. It is terrible.
Well,
It's just-
it has a lot of options to get you back in the game.
No.
Theoretically, as long
Which is
as your
boring.
teammates have ammo, or as long as your teammates have money, and they don't always need to get kills to get money, they can always bring you back.
There's no risk. There's less. It's still a battle royale, and you have less risk in that battle royale. Like you've got like 14 chances to get back into the fucking game. It's stupid.
So it takes away a lot of that risk.
Just go play Tarkov. You die, and that's it. Goodbye. Goodbye to all your loot. Back to the lobby, mate. There's
Hope you weren't too attached
legit.
to that
I'm telling you
M4.
right now, when you play Tarkov, it changes your outlook on games. It's crazy.
That was a problem for me getting into it,
So-
I think, because I had come from just playing Tarkov, I don't know, for fucking ages now. And then I went to play Warzone, and I was playing way too carefully, I think. And trying to like hear footsteps and stuff. You can't hear footsteps properly.
Yeah.
It just
No audio design, no games.
No.
Legit, just someone clapping thongs together in the background somewhere.
it's just fucking explosions and helicopters and shit everywhere. No
No.
fucking hope of hearing anybody running right next to you.
Just Shane with his busted pluggers across the room, slapping them together.
Legit how they design the audio for that game.
So usually when we close out the podcast, we try to read some of the comments from the last video. We were talking about remakes, remasters, and reboots. Some of the comments here were pretty interesting. One of the things that I talked about was with another bloke that we play with sometimes, Jazzballs, and I make a joke about the Modern Warfare 2 remaster that's come out, which is Activision's new attempt at scalping all the money they can from your wallet. And I talk about how back in the day, disagreements were settled with a 1v1 on Rust, with the intervention FMJ quickscopes only. That was the way that you settled beef from school with your mates. What's a game that you've seen, maybe one that you played in your childhood, that's since come back or has been a continuing series that you've been glad to see, or you've been really sorry to see?
I hate remakes, man. I think I was a massive Call of Duty kid, and I think stuff should just be left where it was and make your own content. Like Call of Duty is now one of the worst organizations, man. To be honest, they just flog dead horses. Like remastering a campaign, like oh my.
Yeah. See, what you just said was pretty much my stance in that entire podcast. I can go back and play the original games and have fun with them. I can go back and play Quake 3 and have fun, or fucking whatever.
And
old
half the
game.
remasters don't even look like a remaster.
No.
They don't even look like they've done anything. It just looks like they've just put it on a new disc and gone, "Hey mate, pay me $80 for
That's
it."
the thing. It doesn't even look like a remaster. It just looks like a port. It's just basically a port. Or they have remastered it, but they've changed so much about it that it doesn't play the same anymore. Like it feels weird to play.
Yeah.
Something's wrong and you just can't fucking pick what it is.
I think remasters should be left alone. Just it's a game. It's a good game for a reason. You don't need to remake it or remaster it or re-release it.
The only time I think I've sort of agreed with people demanding some sort of remake or remaster or whatever the fuck however you want to word it, was at the end of Metal Gear Solid 5, because I'm the Metal Gear fan. That loops around into the first Metal Gear game because the game, like the numbered series, are not in chronological order. So Metal Gear Solid 5 happens before the first game in the series, and it tries to loop the story around, so it's explained what the events leading up to the first game. That original game was on MSX or Nintendo, whichever version. The Nintendo version was not very accurate, but the MSX version is so fucking old now to remake that game in the engine that was used for Metal Gear Solid 5, I feel like a lot of the fan base would have enjoyed playing that. How would you feel about something like that? Like an old game that you remembered playing, but rebuilt completely in a new, like a current gen engine for, you know, just to trigger a bit of nostalgia. Yeah.
I think that's how remasters should be done. Exactly what you just said is how it should be done.
Yeah.
Just redone in a new engine. So
Doom. Yeah,
Doom's
legit.
a good example.
Yeah, legit. They don't touch anything about it, and they just like a port, but it's just I don't know. When they remaster a game, it just doesn't do anything for the game, and it's just legit flogging a dead horse. So I think what Titan said is exactly how it should be done.
Either bring something new to
Just
it or just leave it alone.
Yeah, exactly. It's like movies. Yeah, that's enough. Yeah, don't even just yet.
Well, I mean, with movies, it's kind of like my opinion might be a little bit different or unpopular, but the Ghostbusters reboot, I didn't give a fuck. I didn't care. I didn't watch it. I wasn't interested in it.
It's like the movie Step Brothers, and you know how they said they were going to make a Step Brothers 2? I'm fucking
Why?
glad they didn't, because Step Brothers is a great movie.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Don't ruin
fair
it.
enough. Like they would ruin that. Like that movie would be shit. But with Dumb and Dumber, like I saw about 20 minutes of that sequel that actually brought back the original guys, and then I stopped watching it. But it's not going to stop me from going back and watch. The original is still there. I can still go back and watch that and enjoy it. I'm just not ever going to enjoy the sequel. That's all.
Yeah. Well, that's I'm gonna pull the plug because that's about all the time we have. Unfortunately, as much as I'd love to rip on Ghostbusters right now, but
don't do that.
Obviously, if you guys want to catch the podcast, you can listen to it. Whatever you're listening to it on now, but you can also catch it YouTube, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, whatever you want. It's in all of those major directories. You can also yell at all three of us on Twitter. We often plug our handles. We leave that in the description. RedOpz, where do we find you? Where's the best place to find you, mate?
I pretty much stream every day at twitch.tv/RedOpz_.
Yeah, RedOpz with a Z.
Yeah, with a Z.
Yeah.
Not RedOpz. Yeah, that's pretty much the best place to find me. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you want to check out his content, you can. He's also got the YouTube channel, of course, putting out a lot new, fresher content, not just the Fortnite clips that we've.
Yeah, those old videos will be gone by the time this video's up.
We'll need to snatch them, download them. But thanks for coming on, man. It was super cool having you. It was great having a chat. And for those of you listening at home, thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks for watching, guys. See ya.
Roll the outro, ready?
Oh Christ, he's already started fucking yelling. You didn't warn him that we like chat for usually like a minute or so afterwards. So
yeah, just talk shit, fuck around. Such a good meme.
That's usually where we bring up the super
boy.
fucked shit that doesn't really fit into the podcast, like I did last week, and took you completely off guard, and you just didn't respond to it at all. I think,
Dude, I can't even remember what you were talking about, but I remember being really uncomfortable.